Be like Charlie and his esports money pit. Yeah, right? Like, I feel like once you've reached a certain amount of success and you can make a certain amount of money, then you can go and start doing stuff like that, right? And I feel like that's the fun end game. That's the light at the end of the tunnel, is like, if you do find success, I feel like then you can fund cool shit, right? I feel like the point is not to hoard your piles of money like a dragon. The point is to make cool shit, because there's a lot in this industry, especially, that doesn't make money back. Do big streamers even make 6 figures? Yeah, like this person said, it's a very top-heavy industry. Some do. What's the stat? I think there are only like 20,000 streamers that are above 10 viewers. It's not that many people. It's so hard to say because some people have like a lot of viewers but don't make that much because of the way they're monetized. Some communities gift a lot of subs but they're small, so then that streamer ends up making more. So it's hard to like look at someone's CCV or how many followers they have and be like, oh, they probably do. But the ones at the top definitely do. One chunk down from that, I'd say some do depending on what they do, depending on how they monetize themselves. Some people do well but have a lot of overhead, right? You could say they make 6 figures, but then they spend so much out to keep their shit going. So if you're talking about profit, there's probably a lot that aren't. No, obviously, which is the same for any person working a job, right? But a streamer would have more overhead than a person with a desk job because they have all these projects they're doing. You're paying double tax. I've talked about this before, right? You're paying self-employment tax along with normal income tax. So your tax rate is a lot higher too. So a lot of your income does get eaten. So there are a lot of people that I would say, yes, they do make 6 figures technically, but their take home is lower than someone else making 6 figures in a normal W-2 job, you know? So it's hard to gauge, but there's so much that could take money out of the equation. Yeah, and health insurance, right? We don't have any benefits as streamers. So all of that is also out of pocket or paying for your own insurance, etc. Yeah, it's kind of rough on how many pieces of the pie get taken out before you get your take home. So I would say an okay number of them do make 6 figures, but their actual profit at the end of the day is like, you know, really eaten into. So it's hard to gauge if they're doing well based off of what their income looks like on paper. You'd have to do like P&L and go over it, you know? Oh, she said, you know of at least 6 streamers that fake cry on stream for gifted subs that they make 6 figures. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. If you can do that, you actually can make a lot of money. Yeah, if you can make it convincing. I don't have that shit in me. But yeah, if you could still do that and sleep at night, then like, yeah. So like the whole production of a Critical Role, for example. Yeah, right? Critical Role, do they take in a lot of money? Yes, but they're paying a lot of individual people for being there. And there's a fuck ton of overhead to do that broadcast. There's all these extra staff members that they're paying for. So... yeah, you're also funding your own retirement and benefits. That's something that people forget. Your employer, you know, you do like a lot of shit with your retirement funds and all of that, where your employer takes some money from your income and puts it into whatever fund you have, if you have a 401k or whatever's going on, your IRAs, etc. As a streamer, you get money in your bank accounts from streaming. You pay all of your overhead, you pay double taxes, and then you're like, if I want to have retirement, I have to take some of this money and just write a check and just put it into my retirement fund. And that is it. There's no matching. There's no source of any of this being built up in any other way. You do it all just yourself and regular savings, right? So yeah, pretty much you're doing it all yourself, and it can be really tough. It can be really tough. So I would say, do a good number of people make 6 figures? Yes. Are a lot of those people not going to be very well off over time? Yes. Unless they're being incredibly smart, and even then, there's only just so much you could do. So that's why you see me. Do I do a fully animated lore video every single time I have an outfit debut? No, because I'm not making buku bucks where I think it's like totally fine for me to sneeze that money out. I could put that into a retirement account instead, and maybe I could live later, you know? Right? So, you know, does that mean that everyone who's doing that is spending irresponsibly? No, they might have good monetization and they're doing okay, and that's why they're able to do that. I wouldn't bother them about it, you know? But like, depends on the person. Right? Depends on the person. This is why I do like stuff during debuts that does not cost me like 20K to make. Y'all are retiring? I don't know. I think a lot of people are going to have an off-ramp. There's not going to be a real retirement. But the thing is, I don't know how it will be. My guess is that content creators will not be able to keep creating content into like, once you're past 40, I feel like it's not going to work out for a lot of people, you know? It's kind of like being in a sports career where you age out at some point. I don't think many people are going to make it super long, because once you're perceived as older, then, you know, you're like dead to the influencer world or whatever, because kids are weird. So I think a lot of people are just going to be kind of like aging out of their job at some point. Some will be able to continue making it. I think the internet's getting better with it over time, but it's not like other jobs where you can just stay in whatever career, and even if you're not making much for retirement, you can work as long as possible. You like might not be able to do that as a creator. So I don't know. I do have faith that it's getting better over time. Like there's hope there. But yeah, I see like by the time people are in their mid 30s to 40, a lot of people drop off and they have a hard time like making their content relatable after a certain point. It's like I said, better over time, but we'll see how many can keep it going. Whereas everyone else with a normal W-2 job can do that job through their 50s and at the very least, you know? Stream audience will age too. Yeah, but will streaming in its current form even be around that way by that time? And will everyone adapt to it? Most content creators don't adapt well. That's why a lot of them don't last, because they do the same thing forever. So can be tough. So I think everyone's going to have to find an off-ramp. Either they go back to an old career or they find some other thing to do. That's my guess.